Hey everybody, this is Perch, and this isn't strictly comics, but a lot of comic people did comment on it. So what happened with Strange World? Well, it basically grossed a disappointing $4.2 million on Wednesday. This is the holiday weekend, and typically speaking, although a lot of people are saying to the contrary, movies that launch during Thanksgiving tend to do well over this time period. Frozen, for example, did okay when it was launched generally during this time period. It's looking like over the 5-day weekend, over the Thanksgiving weekend, the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's going to make around $24 million. Now, as a debut for a Disney animation film, that is abysmal. It cost $180 million to make. There is zero chance that Strange World is going to make back anywhere close to its money. Now, you can't cry too hard for Disney. Black Panther Wakanda Forever was the number one movie, also by Disney, and it picked up $10 million on Wednesday. So it's going to make somewhere around $63 million over the 5-day period, which will blow away the competition. It's going to, continue to rake in a decent amount of money globally. Wakanda Forever, even though I'm still laughing at the pronunciation of Namor. And I know it's hypocritical for me to make fun of somebody pronouncing something, but come on. Anyway, Strange World is bombing, and it's bombing thoroughly bad. So Encanto, which came out during more concerns about COVID, more theater restrictions, earned $40.3 million, almost double what Strange World is going to to pull in. And Encanto was, a reasonable hit for Disney, not a big hit, but reasonable. So $24 million is awful. So why is it making so little money? Well, hard to say. But maybe part of the clue is what was, before we get to the actual, reasons behind why it bombed, what was the movie actually about?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem. If you look at articles about Strange World, it seems like it was about only one thing, that the main protagonist was gay.
What?
There were ads featuring some kind of fantastical sci-fi type adventure, but the articles, the interviews, and the kind of jeering demands people made online, in news articles, in press, was really focused around the main protagonist being gay. A notable political failure, Brianna Wu, wrote, "The main protagonist is gay. Older people don't find it remarkable. Biracial marriage. Almost no one is white. Climate change metaphor. Even the dog is disabled." And kind of to highlight it, if you thought conservatives freaked out over Lightyear, they're going to shit the bed over Strange World, which is great. Well, it turns out not a lot of people are shitting the bed. The challenge with Strange World is not a lot of people are anything. The difference here, the real fundamental difference, is that Buzz Lightyear was an established character with a bunch of movies under his belt, kind of Disney cartoons, character, everything else. And so when they took Buzz Lightyear, and forget about the fact that one of the supporting characters in Lightyear was gay, which again, people made a lot of hubbub about it. It really didn't matter to the movie. It was I don't want to say it was blink and you miss it, because it was definitely there, but it did not matter to the plot of the movie whatsoever. The main reason why Lightyear failed and why people were frustrated about it or made comments about it, and I'm not counting in the go woke, go broke crowd, it's because it took a kind of lighthearted Toy Story type film, and it turned into kind of a miserable, drab. It wasn't a good movie. That's kind of the core of the problem. It wasn't enjoyable. But fundamentally, people got at least some emotion over Lightyear because they knew the character. Strange World, you do not see a bunch of conservatives saying that they ruined somebody's character and, this retconning is awful and how dare they do this to, my character, they've ruined my childhood, any of that stuff. And the reason they're not saying it is because Strange World is new IP. None of those characters existed before. It is its own thing. So there's no kind of hate outrage that can be either sparked by Disney, which they do, or by YouTubers who are trying to make an extra buck on channels. Now, I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of videos going, go woke, go broke. But, I know you're going to disagree, or some of you disagree. I don't think this is a woke issue. This is nobody knew what this movie, what was this movie about again?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's the fundamental problem. This movie's marketing did not really exist. And no, now there's a lot of commentary about how Bob Chapek is anti-LGBTQ, despite the fact that he was absolutely the most outspoken member of Disney's leadership, more so than even Bob Iger. I know people were frustrated they didn't speak out fast enough, but he did, and he made some commitments, and he absolutely put his foot forward, and now he is gone. But this is not a Bob Chapek deliberately, tanked the movie because he secretly hates gay people. This movie had nothing behind it. There was no plot summary. They allowed the media to run wild with the main protagonist is gay. There is a gay lead. Hey, there's a gay. I'll be honest, I did not see a lot of stories about the disabled dog, but every single article leading up to this movie was a almost jerk off session of the people writing about it, the press, talking about how this movie is going to piss off conservatives. This movie is going to piss off MAGA. This movie is a response to Ron DeSantis. This movie features a gay lead and we're here for it. All that kind of stuff. The problem is you can't sell a movie on, hey, one of the main characters is gay. Take that, Republicans. That doesn't sell tickets. You can't, if you want to truly own the other side, if you want to own the Republicans.
Actually, it's going to be super easy, barely an inconvenience.
The best way to do it is to make the film popular, make it catch, sell the story, and haul in a Frozen level box office. To some extent, and I know it makes people crazy, Brie Larson did get a bit of the last laugh when the film crossed $1 billion. It left people going, well, there must be some way she tricked her way into it. That's not going to happen here. Don't worry. There's not going to have to be any drama about Strange World and tricking their way into box office. There wasn't really people buying these tickets because the film is dying. So you look at all these articles and they brag about, hey, it's an openly gay teenage character. Hey, the actor who's voicing this character once impersonated the FBI on Twitter. I mean, okay. I can go over and over and over the pre-Wednesday and see lots of people giggling and rubbing their hands together about how this movie owns conservatives. That's not a winning strategy. It's just not. The only way you can get kind of outrage dollars is if you truly go all in and you adapt and change a known character, like an Iceman, like kind of what they did with Lightyear, although it was a tone of that film that they changed. If you make those changes, like what they do to Lord of the Rings, if you do that, you'll get fans, you'll get people at least interested enough to bitch about it. But when it's new IP, look, you owe it to see this gay character doesn't work. You're going to have to actually use a story. You're going to actually have to come up with some hook, basic marketing. Now, one other thing that I just want to throw out here is a debunk kind of method. When Frozen launched in theaters, it actually had the same, actually slightly lower marketing than Strange World. That is a fact. You can look it up. Now, granted, 2 to 3 weeks later, Disney kicked in the marketing because that tends to be their style. They tend to release these movies with some budget, and then they tend to dump more money into it if it looks like it's going to catch. Basically, they look for some kind of reaction, and then they pivot. So a lot of comments here is, hey, this film didn't gain marketing. Hey, it cheated. Hey, Disney deliberately tanked it, etc., etc., etc. Disney abandoned it? No, they did not abandon it. You can't blame this on Disney. You have to blame this on, frankly, the press. You have to blame this on the superfans who decided the only thing to talk about on Twitter was, this is a good example of how much we like to see Black, brown, and LGBTQ characters. Representation is beautiful. You're going to have to actually put something in somewhere in this movie about the enjoyable sci-fi hook. Now, I want to say from the outset, I haven't seen this movie. For all I know, and I kind of suspect when I watch this movie, there will be an interesting aspect to it, that it actually will have a sci-fi vibe and potentially is pretty good. Don't know. I may be wrong. But I suspect this movie is better than it's being delivered. I suspect that it's dying because I don't suspect, because nobody ever bothered to tune in for the story. And that's the fundamental problem. So in a sense, this is probably the biggest argument of the go woke, go broke kind of concept. It's if you only go woke, if you ignore plot and story, if you don't bother to market those, if you're basically, your approach of your film is, hey, we're going to own the right wing, you're not going to succeed, because as it turns out, people on the left wing, and frankly, people on the right wing too, if they want to own somebody, they're just going to go on Twitter, find the echo chamber, the people who agree with them, and probably post some memes in there. They're not going to drag their ass down to a movie theater to see a film that has absolutely zero plot described. So, yeah, there you go. What did you think? Did you watch this movie? 24 million. It's hard to describe how big a bomb that is over Thanksgiving weekend for Disney. So maybe next time, talk about the, I had to look through at least 25 articles before I got to the, hey, it's got good action. Hey, there's world building. Hey, there's a sneaky plot that has several subplots to it. Every other article was main character gay. Watch. Okay. Thanks for listening.